Music has a powerful way of reaching people. Just ask the folks who come to Unison at Kerby Centre to listen to the musicians that drop by here. Sometimes it's an impromptu piano concert, or it's the Kerby Sensations every Wednesday. Some people like to tap their toes and some get up and dance. And even when memories fade, music can come across clearly. At Alzheimer Calgary, staff are using personalized playlists, tablets, and intergenerational connections to help people living with dementia. Familiar music is helping reduce anxiety, spark conversations, encourage dancing, and even unlock long forgotten emotions.
With the music element of the Still Me campaign, can you explain how music therapy is used to help people living with Alzheimer's or dementia?
Music is a tool that we use to really communicate with seniors living with dementia. We find that it really unlocks opportunities to communicate. So, for example, we'll play a familiar song, and someone maybe who was quite reserved at the beginning of the day, they start to light up. Their eyes, are so full of life. They start to look at you, make eye contact, maybe reach out for a hand, and those small moments are the times that unlock the opportunities to communicate really. Someone's reaching out for a hand, that means they're wanting to have that shared experience with me. So I'm going to try to find a way to communicate, and music really allows us to do that.
Do we know why that is?
I think when when a familiar song comes on, it causes people to react in different ways. It's almost like it's very innate, right? And then our reactions to music is quite instinctive. You think about when you hear a song that you really like for the first time, you start bobbing your head, you start tapping your feet, right? And then when we play these songs at our program, almost everyone is joining in. And if there isn't singing, there's probably going to be dancing. There's going to be some movement that's going to be facilitated, right? Those music really evokes reactions in people on that innate and instinctive level. So I that's some things that I've seen at our program. Yeah.
At the Alzheimer's Society, do you do formal music therapy or do you just have people listen to music?
We just have people listen to music. Yeah, and we do implement this music and memory program, and it's an activity, right? But we don't have any therapists that do come in. We do have just our regular staff who set up these tablets for our members, and then we go and use. We create personalized playlists that are unique to that individual, right? Songs that they grew up with, maybe culturally, songs that might have been from their wedding, songs that they listen to in their younger days. That allows us to really implement the program effectively because it's catered individually.
Have you seen patients who are, say, withdrawn that, become more engaged through music?
Absolutely. And we would say when someone's really having a hard day at the program, one of our first things to do is, you know what, let's go play some music, right? It's an easy setup. Everyone, it's recognizable from anybody, and we find that it can really help relieve anxieties and agitations, right? Because they're able to really divert or focus their attention on something that's so familiar. So someone who's quite reserved, like I'd mentioned, when they hear something familiar, right, their emotions start to light up. They're starting to focus on something else, and then they become more lively um, and willing to chat. Just being able to just sit with them and listen to their favorite song, I think, is very fun.
Do we know why people can, someone who struggles to remember a family member's name can still remember songs or the lyrics from years ago? Do you have any idea why that is?
Yeah, people with advanced dementia can still remember lyrics because music is so deeply connected to those long-term memories and emotional memories, right? Allowing these familiar songs to trigger a recall even when other memories are lost.
Is there any concern that the music could take them to upsetting? times? Do you ever see that, or is it normally associated with good things?
I have seen it, right, where sometimes when we're creating playlists and when some members aren't able to say particularly what their favorite song is, then it's on our end to do some investigating, right? Where did this person grow up? What era did they listen to? And things like that. We get some question, and we also get some feedback from the care partners as well. But I have seen some moments where we've played a song and it causes someone to cry, right? And maybe they may not be able to say why, but we know that it may have unlocked a memory. And then for us, we just kind of have to sit with them and kind of walk them through it and navigate them, maybe allow them to feel that emotion. And then hopefully, maybe the next song that we play is a different one that can bring them to a better state and a happier state.
You mentioned that can bring sadness. Like we can all think of a song that brings us to a sadder time in our lives.
Mhm.
Is there anything necessarily wrong with that? Because we're still expressing some sort of emotion and some sort of release in that too, right?
Absolutely. No, I don't think there's anything wrong, right? I feel like everyone is tuned to what emotion they are feeling in that moment. And I think just being able to be with them at that time and just, we're a lending hand. We're here to make them feel safe if they need to look on someone. But you're right. I know I have a song that I can think of that brings me sadness or brings me happiness, brings me joy. But yeah, music really allows them to dive to any, like you said, any emotion.
You touched on this a little bit, but do we know what type of music works best? Is it calming music, religious music, music from their youth?
It really depends on who you ask. Depends on, um, let's see, where they grew up. I know that when we have our members come into the program, kind of the general thing that I've listened to, we find that music from the 1930s, sorry, such as the Andrews Sisters, all the way to the 1950s. So Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley, Fats Domino, to the 60s, Simon and Garfunkel, as well as into the 80s, right? It really depends. So we actually have quite a big of a playlist because we always try to get everyone's favorite song in there, so that we're able to listen to it throughout the week.
And do you play it for the group, like that one song, the whole group hears this, or it's played individually for people?
Yeah, so with our music and memory program, how it works, we do it as an intergenerational program. So we have our members, our seniors, and then we have our students who will come from University of Calgary, Mount Royal University. They're nursing students or community rehab students, and they listen to it. So, kind of an example with my headphones, and then they have a splitter that goes to a tablet. So you think of almost like a silent disco where you have these headphones and they're tuned into that person's individualized playlist with the tablet. And then how we like to do it at the end of that activity, we'll say, hey, you know what? This is Charmaine's favorite song they had listened to during the activity, and we want to play it for you. And then, like I said, it really then provides an opportunity for that person to share a story, to communicate and say, hey, you know what? This was my favorite song because, we played it at my wedding, or I remember just sitting in my backyard and just looking at the sun for hours with this song. So things like that.
I like the idea of the individualized playlist, right? Because I mean, it doesn't matter. I would suspect how old you are or what your state of dementia is. You still like what you like,
Yeah.
right? And just because you're a certain age doesn't mean you should be grouped in the group of other people all listening to that one same song, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why, like I said, that individualized playlist is
Mhm.
so important, and really investigating what they truly like so they have their own moment, right? Because sometimes, not like you said, not everyone may like the same music um, all the time. So just that opportunity to really just listen themselves and have a partner on the side too and say, hey, this is what I like back in my day. And we trialed this program with our Youth Central group. These are volunteers between 12 to 17. And it's quite neat to say, oh, I've never heard this, like for both ends, I've never heard this song before. And sometimes the youth volunteer will share a song that they've listened to recently, and our members in the group are like, wow, that was quite interesting. Really, music really transcends time, honestly. It allows people from the different generations to connect in meaningful ways.
I love that. I love the idea of the Youth Central volunteers connecting um, with the clients there. Can families try this at home themselves?
Oh, absolutely. Music now, it can be at the touch of your fingertips, right? You can um, use it on your phone on the way to even when you're driving, right? You can have that individualized playlist so that it can create that calming experience during the drive to wherever they go. If they're going to an appointment, they're coming to our program, right? It can bring that positive energy, and and music really is. It can be that shared experience, right? When you're carpooling, you may ask, hey, what kind of songs do you want to listen to on our road trip? So it creates that shared experience. So I believe care partners can use it.
And do you find that sometimes the people in the program actually start singing the songs as well?
Oh my goodness, yes, yes. They love, I would say they love to sing. And I said and the music that we choose are carefully they're carefully chosen so that it allows people to sing and you know um, trigger those memories that they can just recall lyrics such as that. And like I said, if it's not singing, then it's dancing, right? If they're unable to verbalize, tapping the hands, sometimes hand holding and swaying as well, right? If they can't sing, um, just being able to light up with their facial expression. So there's definitely more to singing, but absolutely they will start singing.
Are there benefits to actually participating in the singing for people with dementia?
Yeah, with singing, it really helps. It can help uh, divert their focus. It can help relieve anxieties, right? It releases those happy emotions when you're singing, so it makes someone feel a little less agitated. Some examples, kind of some stories that come to mind when I was helping someone to the bathroom. They were at first they didn't want to go. Right, there's I'm okay, but I could tell that this person really needs to go. Luckily, at that moment, their favorite song comes on. We start singing, we start dancing, and then when I saw the opportunity where she got up to dance, I was like, hey, this is the time now. We can go to the washroom because we can dance our way backwards, and it worked. And then we continued to sing while I was helping her in the bathroom there too. So it's quite neat.
Super sneaky. I love it. Um, does music, can we expect music to work for everyone with Alzheimer's?
I would say music works for everybody. I At least where at the program that I've worked at, it so far has been um, a tool that we use right away when someone is having a bad day. But of course, I actually do remember one member that we've had actually, yes, that we've had to turn off the music. We've tried it, and I think it was just, maybe silence at that moment was probably the best time. Sometimes, over the ear headphones can be a little bit overwhelming. Maybe the volume was a bit too loud, but sometimes maybe just sitting there in someone's presence is just as effective as music as well.
Yeah, that kind of leads to my next question. Is there anything caregivers should be aware of when introducing music, like say on headphones or any type of music or creating a playlist with their loved ones?
Yeah, just and care partners know their person, and would know what songs, like their wedding songs, what songs were played at birthdays, so they would be the best person to get the right playlist. Kind of some things to say or to share with care partners is just to be mindful of the noise volume. I know sometimes we'll turn it up too loud and it almost sounds like the music is blaring in our ears, right? So we want to keep it at a nice level. Um, I know sometimes with technology, with our tablets that we've used, we've tried to find videos with lyrics or videos that have maybe a soft back, like soft image playing in the background. Or if not, we don't even have to show the tablet. Sometimes just closing our eyes and just listening is is very, very helpful.
That's a good component too, because sometimes watching either the video associated with it or there's the stimulus that way too that can
Yes,
help. depending on the individual, I suppose.
Yeah.
Mhm. And there you mentioned, one about the encouraging that woman to go to the washroom, but can you think of any other moments that really stand out to you where a person with Alzheimer's has really been impacted by music?
Yeah, actually, it was with our another one of our student groups, and I was just walking around because I can't hear the music because it's playing in the earphones. But I was quite curious because we had this one lady. She was paired up with one of our students, and she was tapping her feet, and I can kind of see she was gesturing in a way like, let's get up, right? Um, and I know some of the students are quite shy, right? They're still learning, right? They may not be comfortable in the environment, but this student in particular was so happy and so willing to get up and dance with her because she started to get up and she pulled into in the middle of the program and they started, it was almost like slow dancing. I can't remember the song, but it was something that really brought her to tears. And you can see that in that moment, nothing else mattered but her ability to be able to dance. Yeah. So I think that was my favorite memory.
Wow, that is so touching. I'm just closing my eyes and thinking about that. What an amazing, amazing moment that was for both individuals.
Because sometimes the care partners are not in that moment. They'll say, "Wow, really? That Charmaine actually got up and danced today?" I said, "Yes, yes, she did. She's a remarkable dancer actually." And they'll say, "Well, he hasn't. They haven't danced in quite a while," or things like, "Well, that brings me back to the time that we've danced when we were younger." So just seeing that that there is proof in the photos that they are enjoying the music, and care partners are kind of drawn back and say, wow, it is something that is happening in our program, and good things are happening in the day program, and things that, again, you can share music, you can share it at home as well. So
That's wonderful. And can you tell us anything more about what Alzheimer's Society in Calgary has planned for the month of June in terms of music?
say is, right now with our students, because we have our nursing group student group, we are kind of reintroducing the music and memory program again with our new tablets that we had received. So far we've received a positive response. So
That's all. And
yeah.
when did you start the pilot?
We started it we with our new tablets, we just started it last week. So we are
Oh,
testing it again this week, and we were using laptops before.
mm,
And so they're a little bit clunky and a little bit bigger. So now with the tablets, now you can get up and dance, right? You can actually bring the device with you and get up and wherever you need to go. Look out the window.
and that's a regular component of it is to have the Youth Central kids in there?
Regular component would be with our university students.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And
a lot of and with our youth central, they are coming at our south location. But I
okay.
know what I can say is our volunteers are not the same every time. It's different youths coming in all the
Yeah.
time.
Take care. Thanks for the
Okay.
work you do.
Yeah. Oh, thank
See ya.
you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.